Manchester United could win their first trophy in the Erik ten Hag era. However, don't be mistaken. This game against Newcastle is going to be difficult. We are playing against a very good team with a resourceful manager. And so today, in this video, as a preview, before the Carabao Cup final, I just want to highlight a couple of things. A couple of key factors that could decide the outcome of the Carabao Cup final. So without any further ado, let's analyze. The first thing we're going to look at are Newcastle United's shooting stats. Now, when we look at this stat, which is the non-penalty goal minus expected goal ratio, which is a statistic that shows how wasteful or how efficient a team is with their chances. We see that Manchester United, of course, are here like bang in the middle, so we are performing at the level we are supposed to. But Newcastle United are at minus 0.17. It shows that they are a little bit wasteful. But what's interesting is that if you look at the distance of their shots, you realize that Newcastle United and Brentford actually shoot far closer to the opposition goal than any other team at 15.7 yards. What this shows is that when you combine the fact that they shoot from a closer distance, but at the same time that they seem to be a little wasteful, what this tells me is that they're very good at putting the ball right in front of the goalkeeper, but that their players are not in a comfortable situation. So that means that these chances are mostly from set pieces or crosses. And actually, we can better visualize this by looking at some XG maps. So for example, this XG map right here was from their game against Arsenal just a few weeks ago. Now, as you can see, both Arsenal and Newcastle United were very close. In fact, just 0.01 difference in expected goals. That means any team who would have scored the goal, they would have run away with all 3 points with a 1-0 win. Now, if we look at Newcastle's chances, you see that their best chance was actually from a corner, with Joelinton having a shot following a Fabian Schär corner. But actually, that pattern repeats itself. For example, Kieran Trippier assisting Fabian Schär from a corner. Kieran Trippier, Schär. Kieran Trippier, Schär. So as you can see, Newcastle United have a clear pattern of play. They are very good at getting those shots successfully from set pieces and from crosses. Let's look at more XG maps. For example, this one right here was against Leicester. Of course, the first goal came from a Chris Wood penalty, but one of their 3 goals in their 3-0 win came from Joelinton again, from a corner, from again, you know who, Kieran Trippier. And if we look at, for example, here, again, Fabian Schär from a corner from Kieran Trippier. So they are very good, even here, like Miguel Almiron had a chance from a corner. There is no assist because maybe it was from a corner. It was cleared. There was confusion in the box, and Almiron was actually able to get a left foot shot that was blocked. But still, the same pattern repeats itself, creating chances from corners. This was actually against us. This was in the Manchester United-Newcastle game earlier in the season. Newcastle United, again, they created some of the best chances in the game with, for example, this one. Again, Joelinton with a header from a set piece. Actually, this one, he shot on the post. Newcastle could have beat us 1-0 in this game. We are lucky that it ended up with a 0-0 draw between us, right? Again, Callum Wilson from a Kieran Trippier corner. As you can see, Newcastle have a clear pattern of how they create chances, and that is crossing and using set pieces. And rightly so, because if we look at this, when you look at the passes into the penalty area in the Premier League this season, we realize that Kieran Trippier, the man who keeps on coming back, every time we look at Newcastle's expected goals and Newcastle's chances, Kieran Trippier is the constant. And as you can see here, in the Premier League, he ranks second, just behind Kevin De Bruyne, when it comes to passes into the penalty area. Also, when it comes to crosses into the penalty area, he is number 1. So Newcastle right here, they have a weapon. What's also noteworthy is that there is no other Newcastle player on the list. Kieran Trippier. That means that Newcastle are very good at getting the ball to their right back, Kieran Trippier, who just puts in those crosses. And so the last thing we want against them in the Carabao Cup is to allow Trippier to get in that groove. You know, that groove where he just puts in ball into the box after ball into the box. Some of those balls are going to become shots. Some of those shots are going to become goals. Now, Newcastle United also use Trippier in another way. As you can see, he ranks first when it comes to dead ball passes in the league. He is the best, the most efficient one when it comes to putting in those dead ball passes into the box. And also when it comes to crosses. So he is one of the most efficient and proficient crossers of the ball in the league. Next, if you look at how Newcastle actually create chances, this is the chance creating action statistic, and it shows you how a team creates chances. When you look at it, Newcastle United are first in the league when it comes to creating chances from dead balls. But here we do have even more insight into how they do that, because they also rank first in the league when it comes to drawing in fouls from the opposition. Basically, what Newcastle United are very good at is their ability to use some of their stronger players like Callum Wilson or Alexander Isak or Joe Linton or Longstaff, for them to actually cover the ball, hold up the ball, cover it, and then when they feel that they are in the right position to get a set piece, they just fall to the ground and the referee allows them that set piece. And then they use those set pieces to create chances like I have shown you in the expected goal map. And that's even more important and can be even deadlier because Newcastle United, also in the league, they rank second when it comes to winning their aerial duels. Now, I just want to note that Manchester United are fourth and not that far off from Newcastle United, so we are no mugs, we are no pushovers in this department. However, guys, in my David De Gea video, I showed you how David De Gea, when it comes to claiming crosses and commanding his area, he is lacking compared to the other goalkeepers in the league. If I were Eddie Howe, I would actually look to exploit this weakness in David De Gea's game. Instead of instructing my players to shoot from outside the box, an area, the kind of shots that David De Gea would be comfortable dealing with, I would actually instruct my team to put the ball right in front of David De Gea because he's not commanding enough, he's not brave enough to come out and claim that ball. And so we would have chances to score goals. So that's what I'm actually worried about the most when it comes to playing against Newcastle. So now, don't get me wrong, I am still confident that Manchester United are going to win and we're going to win our first trophy of the Erik ten Hag era. However, we have to be mindful of Newcastle United and their strengths because this team is built for knockout football and cup finals. They are very stubborn, they are solid defensively, though it remains to be seen how they're going to cope with Nick Pope's absence in this game. But still, Eddie Howe is a very good manager. I'm sure that he's going to set up his team in a way that frustrates us, and they're going to be really tough to break down. But also, they have the ability to hurt us because they have clear patterns of play when it comes to how they use their set pieces, and they're very good at getting the ball right in front of the goalkeeper where pretty much anything can happen. As I've shown you from the expected goal maps against us and against Arsenal, they were really close. I mean, in the cup final, if it goes into a 0-0, anything can happen. A set piece, even a low quality chance, can lead to a mistake by one of our players, or it can lead to just one of their players just being in that right time, just being like half a second faster in terms of reaction than our players, and then we would lose the Carabao Cup final 1-0, okay? So it's going to be a very tight affair, it's going to be a very difficult game, and we have to be mindful of this. Also, they are very good at drawing in fouls, so we have to be much smarter. We have to be street smart. You cannot let them get cheap corners. We cannot clear the ball. We have to clear it into the throw-ins, make sure that we don't give them corners. And also, let's make sure to not play overly aggressively and not give them free kicks because they can exploit it. So anyway, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed this analysis video. If you did, please give the video the thumbs up and see you after the Carabao Cup final, hopefully with a very positive and upbeat video with us as Carabao Cup winners. Cheers.